Well, the rise of artificial intelligence is making it harder and harder to know what is real on the internet and what is fake. And while deepfake technology has led to some people getting scammed or impersonated online, an Australian academic has found a way to use it for good. And he joins me now, Professor Sanjay, a cybersecurity and AI expert from UNSW. Professor, thank you very much for joining me. You're developing new technology to create deepfakes. So let's begin with a look at a video that you've created with this program.
I am recording myself speaking so that they can feed this video into their program and create a deepfake of myself, which is interesting. I can't wait to see what comes out. The figure summarized is everything in the context of the wireless security that we have seen so far. Security can be very challenging.
So what have we just looked at and what could this be used for?
So you've seen Jacob Gillard from our media unit giving us a few seconds of his video and voice recording. And we tried to create a persona of Jacob, and then we could feed arbitrary text, and that would read in Jacob's voice and his talking head. And the positive side of this technology is that we can, for example, integrate this talking head into lecturing. And you don't have to do the hard yards of recording, re-recording if there is any change and all that. So it kind of increases productivity and makes it more flexible. You could make it multilingual, so same lecture could be given in Chinese, Mandarin, for example, or Hindi or French or whatever it is. Marketing companies could use these kind of technologies to automatically generate content at low cost and increase productivity.
And so how would it be different to what's currently out there?
So our niche is in terms of, say, quality of voice. So we have patented technology whereby we can take only a small sample of your voice and clone it. If we had hours of data, you see like a lot of tools and techniques that use, say, cloning Obama's voice and all that. So we are doing it much more efficiently, if you like, and that's energy saving. One of the problems with AI is that it is taking a lot of server bandwidth and so forth. Also, I would like to correct that the term deepfake is a bit of a problem because it gets bad press and it catches people's attention, but the technology is called deep learning. So I'm not creating deepfake. The intent in deepfake is to be deceptive. So you put someone's voice without their consent, you fake their voice, you use people's heads and implant it on, say, some porn stars without their consent and so forth. So those are the kind of applications which is called deepfake, but the technology is deep learning for both voice and video cloning, and that can be used for many positive sort of uses that I've highlighted.
And how could you prevent this technology being used for malicious purposes?
That's a difficult one. And first of all, we need to make sure that we do watermark, both for voice and video. With video, you could have explicit message saying that it's artificial intelligence created. We want to make sure that the provenance is recorded. With voice, it is a bit tricky to watermark. That can work with machines, for example. So if you're going to upload this on a portal, they can check for watermark to see if the content is generated properly and has ethical practices. But other than that, there are multiple tools, and people got to be vigilant to make sure that they're aware of real versus these cloned content. And some of them are for legitimate purposes, others are for deceptive purposes.
And the rise of deepfakes online has led to an increase in scams and impersonations, and they're getting really hard to spot. What are your tips? How can someone spot a deepfake online?
So if the content is recorded, there are many tools and portals where you can check these things, but even the fake contents are becoming much more sophisticated. For voice, it is a bit tricky, especially if it's real time and a scammer calls you on phone line. You don't have much time to think about these things, and you react if they're asking for extortion, saying that they're playing your child's voice. So I think the best thing is to keep your calm and make sure to look at the context, whether you have alternate ways of checking the fact before you pay any ransom. There have been cases where, for example, video calls have been faked and an executive calls their accountant to pay thousands of dollars to some account. And those things, you need to look at the context to see if your executive is away. You ask some questions, for example, don't hesitate and simply comply.
How much have deepfakes evolved in recent years, and where do you think they go from here?
Well, the tools have become easily available and it's on rise. I can't give you a percentage, but you will see that particularly audio is low-hanging fruit. The portals can very easily provide audio cloning and then people can misuse it. I'm not saying that everyone is misusing it, but they do get misused. Video takes a bit of time, but that's also becoming easier. But not to say that these things were not happening before the deep learning methods came into practice. Simply, they have made it easier because people can go online and very quickly put their photo, video, audio samples or someone else's, and that can create contents for good as well as bad purposes. In old days, you had Photoshops and other video editing tools. People could do those things, and they were doing, but that took more time. Right now, it's a lot easier.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. That's Professor Sanjay from UNSW.